Friends, the dictionary definition of resilience is the capacity to withstand or recover quickly from difficulties and setbacks. And it's also defined as the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape after it's been knocked down. In other words, it's elasticity. In everyday language, resilience is your bounce back ability. That is, how quickly do you bounce back after setbacks? It's that spring in your step after life knocks you down flat on your back. In fact, the Japanese have a term that describes it beautifully. It's called nana korobi yaoki. Nana korobi yaoki, which literally translates beautifully and poetically into fall 7 times, stand up 8. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. And that, my friends, is resilience. That proverb best sums up the essence of resilience: to pull yourself together and to get back into action after setbacks. You see, resilience is not about avoiding difficulties. It's not about running away from difficulties or shielding yourself from difficulties. It's about becoming the kind of person who grows stronger through difficulty. Resilient folks grow through whatever they go through. And that's going to be the slogan of this video: to grow through whatever you go through. So the question is, why is resilience a key skill of the future? Why have we included resilience in the Future Skills series? It's because we human beings, we've had a few very comfortable decades. We've been enjoying the fruits of the Industrial Revolution, cost of goods falling down, consumerism, globalization, dot-com era, internet era, social media, and we've been very comfortable. And guess what? Now AI and automation are knocking on the door. Change is not just knocking on the door, it's already inside the door, and it's here to shake things up beyond recognition. You see, my friends, my father's generation could work one job for 35, 40 years. That's what my dad did. He worked for 40 years from the Punjab government, and he traveled all his life, and he served the state with all his heart, and they would get annual increments and promotions, and they could retire comfortably and enjoy their retirement with a pension without any constant fear of layoffs or restructuring. But our world, your world and my world, it's no longer stable nor predictable. We live in a world of constant layoffs, restructurings, reskilling, gig work, freelance work, side hustles, multiple careers, startups and solopreneurs, and so much more. And that's why the World Economic Forum calls resilience as one of the top 10 skills for 2025 and beyond, because disruption is no longer the exception, it's the new norm. Disruption is the new norm, and resilience ought to be your superpower in this new era. You see, this video and the suggestions that I offer in this video are deeply personal to me, because resilience isn't something I've just read about in a book and created a script for this video. It's been my constant companion, my friends. Resilience has been my constant companion through setbacks and delays and waits and disappointments and uncertainty and rejections. Whether it was stepping into the unknown in this new career in 2007, when I walked away from a safe, secure hospitality career that I carefully built across 5 countries, to leave everything behind, to return back to India to pursue my current dream, or whether it was when I had to relocate back from the US all of a sudden in my very first job, just as my career was about to take off due to my father's cancer. All of these, during all of these situations, all of these testing times, resilience was what helped me bounce back every single time. And resilience is what will sustain you, my friends, when talent, intelligence, luck, or strategy alone will not be enough. You will need the skill of the future called resilience, which is your ability to bounce back from setbacks. So stay with me throughout this video as we explore 5 practical ways in which you can become more resilient in these changing times. And I'll also add a surprise bonus towards the end. And all of these tips are drawn from my personal life experiences. So without much further ado, let's get started right into tip number 1, which is having a strong future pull. That's right. Tip number 1 for building resilience is to create a strong future pull. And here's what I mean. by creating a future pull. You see, life is a long war made up of many little battles. And often you will lose a battle or you lose many battles. But in order for you to win the war, you'll need to bounce back up quickly. You'll get knocked down. Things won't go your way. But if you have a strong vision, my friends, even if it's blurry at the moment, even if the vision is vague at the moment, if you have a strong vision, a sense of where you're headed, a sense of what you want to achieve, these little losses, losing these little battles, it won't matter. Because the bigger picture, the future pull, will inspire you to put yourself back together again, to rebuild yourself, and to move forward once again. The psychologist Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of the concentration camps, and I strongly suggest you read his book. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. And he said these powerful words. He said, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost anyhow. If you know your why am I doing? Why am I struggling? Why am I working hard every day? You can go through anyhow. You can go through any challenge." And that's future pull, your why, discovering your why. And this is not just philosophy, my friends. It's research backed. A McKinsey study on peak performance found out that people with a clear sense of purpose, are 5 times more resilient in the face of setbacks. So find your sense of purpose. Gallup reports that employees who connect daily tasks to a bigger mission, like my team can connect their daily tasks to the bigger mission of making the world a better place. Gallup reports that employees who are able to do that is connect their daily routine tasks to a bigger mission, show higher engagement and less burnout. I can vouch for this from my personal experience. You see, my journey wasn't cushioned, and you've heard the stories. I've washed cars while I was studying at university in Sydney, even if it was for a couple of weeks. I've waited tables. I've been a security guard. I've manned gas stations. These were not glamorous jobs, and I didn't have to do them. I chose to do them. And you've heard them about these stories in different videos. And often during going through these challenging times, I'd ask myself, why am I doing this? You know why? Because I had a picture in my mind of the person I could become in the future, of the person I wanted to become in the future. I had the sense of knowing deep down that bigger things are waiting for me, that bigger things are lined up for me. And even if this picture was sometimes vague or blurry, it pulled me back every time I went off track. The speaker you see today on YouTube and other places, this Simerjeet Singh that you know today, he's been through that struggle and uncertainty, except whenever I went off track, I was pulled forward by a vision of my better self. And that, my friends, is the power of a future pull. Perhaps best described by the ancient yoga guru Patanjali, who said, "When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all of your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction. You find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents come alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be." That's future pull. And here are a few practical ways to develop a strong future pull. I suggest you write down and visualize your ideal future self. Write down and visualize every day your ideal future self. Imagine in great detail how that future person, the future you, how does he talk? How does he walk? How much does he earn? How is he contributing to society? What's his health like? What are his relationships like? Make that image so real and so compelling and so magnetic that even when you fall back, even when you feel miserable, that future self pulls you right back up. This is how you are inspiring yourself, not just motivating. See, motivation can be temporary. It's about a push. Inspiration is the pull. And this vision of the future self is the pull that you need. Recall this image every day. Create a little movie in your head when you're in the gym, when you're commuting. Just put on some good music and think about it every single day. And affirm to yourself, every day, repeat to yourself, I look forward to each day with eagerness and excitement and enthusiasm of the opportunities that lie in this day. Each day is a new adventure. Each day is a new start. I look forward to every day because the law of attraction brings me exciting new opportunities every day. An affirmation like that will charge you up. Train your mind just like you train your body. Train your mind every day to be fueled not just by willpower. You see, willpower will only get you so far. Vision power will get you very far in life. So train your mind to create vision power. That's resilience in action. Create a future dream for yourself. All right, my friends, tip number 2 to create resilience, that is, creating bounce back ability, is to remember that there are no failures, there's only feedback. Remember, there are no failures, only feedback. Think about it. The word failure carries a very heavy weight. Failure feels like final. It feels like the end of the road, that everything's come to an end. With failure comes feelings of shame and embarrassment, the feeling that you're done and the curtain has dropped and no matter what you try, you can't undo it. But there's a better way to look at it. And I borrow that from NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, and which says, this is one of the foundational beliefs of NLP, there are no failures, only feedback. And I want you to embed this in your mind. Repeat this sentence to you every single day until you start believing in it, until you start processing your so-called failures differently as feedback. When I first heard this from my NLP instructor, Bruce Farrow, in the UK, while I was training for NLP, he said this one line: there are no failures, there's only feedback, while he was teaching NLP. And it stuck with me ever since so deeply that even if I had walked away with just this one sentence, it would be worthwhile the entire effort of attending the course. You see, my friends, feedback is different. Feedback is alive. Feedback means the game is still on. It means you can adjust, you can correct, you can change, and you can try again. Failure is like a full stop. Feedback is like a comma. It's not the end of the sentence, it's just a pause, an opportunity to redirect your story. Or in Edison's words, I have not failed 10,000 times, I have just found 10,000 ways that do not work how to make a light bulb. Therefore, by the process of elimination, I'm closer to my goal. If Edison would have processed every failed attempt as final, he wouldn't have ventured forward. He looked at it as feedback. Okay, this doesn't work. And the story goes that he tried everything, all the way from horses' hairs, human hairs, and all those elements to see which one would fit right in the electric bulb until it finally hit. That's feedback in action. That's course correction in action. And research backs this up. A Harvard Business Review study found that organizations and leaders that reframe mistakes as learning opportunities bounce back 30% faster after setbacks. And setbacks are bound to happen in business. In entrepreneurial settings, venture capitalists often look for founders who've had setbacks because they know these experiences are the feedback that these founders need to make them sharper and stronger. Let me share my own personal story with you. You see, I applied for an MBA program to one of the world's leading business schools, ISB in Hyderabad, long ago. And I didn't get in. I wasn't even called in for an interview. But instead of processing it as a failure, I took it as feedback. I started doing my inner work, my research, my meditation, exploring alternative paths, and I finally came to the conclusion that I don't need to push harder. Maybe this path is not for me. Maybe there was something better waiting. And sure enough, it led me to rediscover myself as a motivational speaker and a coach in my current role doing what I do now. Had I gone to ISB to study MBA, I probably wouldn't be doing this. In my early days of my speaking careers, we would pitch to companies and we would get a no thank you. We don't need a motivational speaker. We pay our people on time. Some might call that as failure. You know, when you approach a company and they say no, some might process it as failure. But I would process it as feedback. I would sit down and ask, why didn't this work? Maybe we're not the right match for this company. Maybe they don't need a motivational speaker right now. But how can we change? What sort of companies should we approach? How can we improve our approach? Those no's taught me more about my branding. They taught me to move from the push marketing to the pull marketing, to build stronger relationships, to network more, to increase my presence on social media and all of those things. Every rejection taught me something. Every rejection was not the end. It was just a stepping stone to something better. So here's the mindset shift, my friends, that I'm asking you to make. Process every failure as feedback on your strategy, on your timing, on your approach, on your preparation. Not about you as a person, not about you as your intellectual ability or your personality. So don't take these setbacks personally. Dil pe mat le yaar. If you're a cricketer, getting out for a duck isn't failure. It's feedback. It's feedback on your shot selection, your footwork, your timing. You can go back in the next game, adjust and walk out to bat again and to be in the game back again. In the workplace, if a project proposal gets rejected or if your idea gets shot down, that's not the end of your career. It's feedback to sharpen your idea, to sharpen your storytelling, to align better with your boss's vision to your company's vision. As an entrepreneur, when your products or services don't sell, it's not failure. It's feedback from the market saying, try again, but try again differently. If you're single and you would like to mingle, but you're always putting potential partners off, you're not attracting the right sort of person in your life, it's not failure. Don't take it personally, right? Don't let it shatter your self-belief or your self-image. Improve your approach or approach better people, approach the right kind of people. So remember this, there are no failures, there's only feedback. Take the notes, make adjustments, and get back in the game. Because resilience is not about avoiding mistakes. It's about refusing to let those mistakes stop you. Or in the words of Confucius, a man is not great because he hasn't failed. A man is great or a person is great because failure hasn't stopped him or failure hasn't stopped her. That's resilience. All right, we now move on to tip number 3, which is building healing fallback mechanisms, creating healing fallback mechanisms, creating ways to heal yourself after you fall. Here's the truth, my friends, the world will hurt you. Especially if you're out to do good things, to help other people, you're a good person, you want to make a difference, you want to change the world, you are going to get hurt. A good, purposeful life should ideally come bubble wrapped, like those fragile items from Amazon, but it doesn't, right? Truth is, you're going to fall, you'll get knocked down, you'll get betrayed, rejected, blindsided by things and people you didn't see coming. God bless you, but you will face these situations that will leave you shaken and broken and confused and full of doubt. So the question is not, will I get hurt? That's a given. The real question is, how will I heal and how quickly can I bounce back? And this is where healing fallback mechanisms come into place. Think of them as your personal first aid kit for the soul. Just like if you go trekking, you should always have a medical kit with you. You should not go without a medical kit. Don't go through life without having a first aid kit for your soul, knowing what heals you. For me, it's my daily prayer and Nitnem routine. It's my daily affirmation. It's a gym in the evening, the workout, the music, typically playing Bollywood and Punjabi songs, the hellos to all the wonderful people in my gym, the sauna and the steam afterwards, the camaraderie, the sports, the socializing. It's even the little joys like the perfumes, the coffee, an evening walk with the kids, or playing with your pets, or gardening, or cultivating herbs on my rooftop. rooftop and things like that. Of course, and it's also you, my audience. Some days when I'm feeling low, I do a Facebook Live or sit down to write a script for you all, and I feel better at the end of it than I did in the beginning. Listen, if you've worked hard to be able to do what you really love to do, your work itself will become a healing act. If you love photography and you go spend some time in photography, you're going to heal yourself, right? So this was my list, and you don't have to copy my list. You must create your own. For you, it could be cycling, gardening, going outdoors, sunrise, meditation, yoga, coffee with a friend, hiking, cooking something nice. Invite me over if you do. Reading a nice book, playing with your kids or your pets, sitting around a bonfire and just doing nothing. Journaling, writing your gratitude list, listening to music, or simply taking a nap. The key is have your list ready. You will need it at some stage. Know what works for you. Know what lifts you up. Don't wait for life to knock you down before you start compiling your list of how to get back up. And, it's very important for you to understand that this is not just something I personally use and I personally believe in. Research also supports this. The American Psychological Association found out that people who engage in regular self-care practices, that's very important, regular self-care practices, whether physical, emotional, mental, or social, they report higher resilience scores and recover faster from stress. Just like people who go to the gym on a regular basis recover quickly from sicknesses and viral infections. Even the World Health Organization encourages building psychological recovery practices. Even they understand that you're going to get knocked down and you're going to get hurt. These are essential life skills for the future of work also, because it's changing all the time. And the key is to use your healing mechanisms unapologetically. No guilt, no need for explanations. If you're running empty, refill your tank. Take the time to heal. If it costs time or money, invest in it. Go for a bike ride to the mountains or do something. Take some time off. It's the best return on investment you will ever get. Don't complain, don't explain, just look after yourself. Looking after yourself is not a selfish act. That's the best gift you can give to your loved ones, to your employers, to your clients, is a healthy, healed, and hearty version of yourself. And if the blows are too big for your toolkit, if life has knocked you down really hard and you feel that none of this can work for you, please go see a coach, a counselor, a therapist. Talk to someone about it. There is no shame in asking for help. But for most of the stuff, you will find that you already carry within you the ability to heal yourself and to bounce back. So that was tip number 3, my friends. Identify and practice healing fallback mechanisms, so you know how to pause, so you realize how to recover, and you know how to come back stronger. Let's move to tip number 4 now, building a daily non-negotiable routine. It's daily, it's non-negotiable, and it's ideally at the same time. That's my tip number 4, have a daily non-negotiable routine in order to develop a thick skin, my friends. And we all need a thicker skin in order to be more resilient, right? Because there's situations out there that are going to test how thick your skin is, right? So you see tip number 3, which we just discussed, healing fallback mechanisms. This is the stuff you do after you're hurt. A daily routine, which is tip number 4, is what you do to build your immunity, is what you do to fortify yourself before the battle even begins. It's building your strength and immunity to the stress, the irritants, and the hard knocks of life. In other words, your daily